Hi, everyone. Michael Sandler here, your host on Inspire Nation, along with
Jessica Lee,
who is now going to rescue Sir Meowsers or rescue stuff from Sir Meowsers. Excuse me. Got a little cough here this evening. Welcome to our weekly Ask Michael Anything, which is now an Ask Michael and
me?
Well, yeah, that's why we've got this new mic setup. Do you want to tell everybody about the new mic setup?
It's this. It's an H2 Zoom. It's got surround sound.
But why did we do this?
Because our other lapel mic setup was causing some strange buzzing noise.
And so we had strange buzzing noises with the lapel. When we got off of the lapel, if you listen to our most recent video that we uploaded, people were saying it was a little bit too quiet. It's almost unheard of for me to be too quiet.
Yeah, I know. That does not compute.
No, I know how to throw that voice. So, but
Hi, Harry.
we got a new setup for everybody. Hi, Harry. So with that said, let us jump into things. But please, let us know if you like the sound. Let us know if you can hear Jessica's typing and if the clickety-clackety is a little bit too loud. Are you checking out, making sure everything's good or making sure?
I'm just making sure you're not pinging.
And am I pinging?
I don't think so.
Okay, very good. So before we dive right into things, got a little bit of housekeeping. First off, we have our group coaching program coming up in 9 days from now. 9 days from now, we put out a video on this yesterday. You can find out more about it at inspirenationuniversity.com. There's still a few spots left if you're looking to find your purpose, your path, your direction in life. If you're looking to overcome feelings of being stuck, not being sure where to turn, or really to turn your life around and put you in a better place to help you to shine bright, then this group coaching program is for you. And crazily enough, we put it on sale. So it is $300 off, which is, I feel like, what is it? The old school New Jersey insane with our discounts or something like that. With that said, we want to know from you, what would you like to see from us? Is it more group coaching programs? In essence, how can we help you? Is it more group coaching programs with lots of one-on-one attention, like a 12-week program? Is it a class that you want? Less one-on-one attention, lower price where you get videos, or you can come with us live once a week, for instance. Is it a 52-week program? We've been looking at building a 52-week program for happiness to help you to shine bright, where once a week you can either meet with us or you get a recording, plus you get one tool to work on each week, one little homework assignment to help you to truly shine bright through 2019. And I can't believe I actually just said 2019. That is wild. So what kind of classes are you looking for? What kind of programs are you looking for? Let us know the topics as well. You can put them in the chat room. If you're listening to this afterwards, please put them in, what do we call it? The notes below? What do you call that?
Comments.
In the comments below. Are you looking for law of attraction and manifestation? Are you looking for happiness? Are you looking to find your purpose, path, and direction? Are you looking to overcome stress? Is it to shine brighter? Is it to build a new relationship, to find a new career path? What is it you're looking for that we can help you the most with? Please let us know, because we have 2 or 3 months to build our next program. We're actually launching our magical evening routine in just a couple weeks to help you to
pass out.
Well, that too. I was saying more that get a great night's rest and set yourself up for success and to be able to get better night's sleep. Somebody was just mentioning daily wows. We do have our patron, patreon.com/Inspire Nation, our patron backstage family, basically Backstage Pass, where we do give you almost daily videos with tips and information. Let us know what else you'd like from us. We are here to serve you. We are here for you. So with that said, let's talk about some extreme overwhelm and feeling frozen. Nothing that we have ever felt before, and certainly not recently, right?
Like right now?
Okay, so
I think I experience the frozen thing every time I'm from the camera.
Michael, old school Michael, I used to melt down I can't believe I said that on air, but I did. I used to get overwhelmed. I used to freeze up. I used to completely fall apart. The number one reason that I used to do that was
blood sugar crashes.
bingo. So if you are, and we've got that under control with a handy dandy awesome diet that took us a few years to heal all the blood sugar challenges that I had for almost my entire life, got the blood sugar under control, and a lot of the overwhelm and anxiety went right away. What does that mean? It means that if you're feeling icky, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling anxious, then the first thing that you want to do is say, do I need something to eat? And not reaching for the sugar. So I am hearing you're typing loudly. And I'm just hearing it loudly because I've got the mic right here. So I want to know from others if the typing is too loud for people.
Is this annoying?
Or is it okay to have Jessica going in the chat room? So first, let's look at our blood sugar levels. Let's look at how well fueled we are. And again, not going to the sugar, because if you take the sugar going, I'm overwhelmed, I'm have some sugar, great. You're great for 5 minutes, Dr. Jekyll, and then you're right back to being Mr. Hyde, or vice versa, however that works. Next. Go to the breath. It is amazing how much just one deep breath can shift your existence and shift your perspective on whatever you are doing. This simple tool, take one breath, take 3 breaths, take 3 minutes of breathing if you can. How much has breathing been important for you when you felt overwhelmed?
It's the quickest way to reset my emotional system. Yeah.
So, and I should deep breathe right now because I just violated the number one key rule, which is to just throw a question at you out of the blue, isn't it? And are you feeling overwhelmed or anxious, or did you just breathe into that?
No, I held my breath. I'm still holding my breath. I'm not really breathing right now. Good thing I've got big lungs.
This is true, and soon she might turn purple, but she's going to stop talking and hope that, yes, there we go. In through the schnoz, out through the schnoz. Nasal breathing resets the nervous system. Breathing through the mouth is what you do if you're running from an animal. It's the only time that almost any animal breathes through the mouth is if they're being chased. So deep breathe, nice and slow through the nose. It's your number one defense. Then another powerful tool, tapping. I use it all the time. So let's say that you're really nervous. You're scared you haven't started this project. You don't know where to begin. And you can come up with a clearing statement. I love myself completely and fully, even though I'm terrified I don't know where to begin. Even though I have no idea where to begin. And then you can go over 8 different acupressure points. So you go, I love myself completely and fully, even though I'm terrified, I don't know where to begin. I love myself completely and fully, even though I'm terrified, I don't know where to begin. Love myself completely and fully, even though I'm terrified. Even though I'm terrified, I'm doing the express version. Even though I'm terrified, 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 terrified. You do that, and what it does is it resets the nervous system and shorts out the negative emotion. Go for the strongest, most powerful clearing statement that you can. We have lots of great videos on this, and I would certainly check out the latest with Jessica Ortner on this. But tapping is huge for calming the nervous system. If you're in a cubicle, if you're in public, if you're around others, or me at the DMV in New Jersey a few years back, I just went to this point so that nobody saw what I was doing. Well, I thought of doing this, and I know people would stare at me, which was okay. And I went from tapping here to just doing a heart coherence exercise of sending everybody love.
Yeah.
And doing that heart coherence exercise, sending out love, doing a meta kindness meditation, taking the emphasis off of yourself, helps transform everything. So
I did the same thing too.
At the DMV.
Yeah.
We can geek out with this stuff. I love it. So, all right, get mindful. What does this mean? A great way to practice mindfulness, in addition to going to the breath, is going to your seat, going to your buttocks, going to any other word you want to describe the area down there, and feel yourself sitting on the chair. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel how you're sitting in your back, how your shoulders are, where your head is positioned. You leaning forward, back, unlikely, to the sides. Where are your hands? What do you feel beneath you? The more that you go and check in with your various senses, the more it resets the nervous system and calms you down. This is particularly great if you're driving down the road, you're freaking out, you're in a hurry, you're in traffic. Grab that wheel, not strangle the wheel, but grab the wheel and feel your fingers on the wheel. Ask yourself, am I present? Am I fully present? Feel your butt on the seat. Am I present? Am I fully present? Take a breath. Am I present? And you'll find as you ground into your body, you feel much better. Since we're talking about body and physicality, what's Michael's number one thing to do when he's overwhelmed or anxious?
Go outside.
Go outside. Get moving. Very good. You know me very well. While stillness is cool and going to Om is awesome, overwhelm is often an extreme example of wanting to move forward, but not knowing how. I often say that fear and anxiety are excitement without deliberate action. Once you take action, once you start moving forward, you feel so much better. Now, clearly, if you're anxious and you go walk, you can't walk yourself away from your problems. Even if you do ultra marathons, you can't walk yourself away from your problems. But you can get the nervous system reset and then come back to things. Excuse me, this is this mild cough that I have this evening that has been chasing me down. Yes, I forgot to bring my cough drink over. Thank you, thank you. Is this the one with or without the honey?
With.
We'll keep it here as a placebo effect at the moment then. Overwhelm is often, well, it's often not what you think. What does that mean? Overwhelm is often creative angst, meaning you has a water balloon that is overfloweth. You are filled with so much energy and goodness in you that you are waiting to burst. This is why people, before they go on stage, can be neurotic. Don't know of anybody who might be that way, but can be that way. People who are about to paint or sculpt or anything can be a little bit crazy too. It's this generation of a tsunami of creative energy inside of you, just waiting to spill forth. If you learn this, you can relax into it and understand this is often part of the creative process. About to put the Pookie on the spot. Have you ever experienced creative angst where you've got that energy up, and it calms down as soon as you get into the task?
Yesterday.
Just yesterday.
Maybe today. No, mostly yesterday.
And were you aware of that?
Yes.
And does that make it easier when you know what's going on?
Yeah. And I know it's temporary. And I know that when I just start taking steps forward, that anxiety is going to subside. So
if you get to know yourself better and realize that the overwhelm you're experiencing is often creative angst, even if you've got this massive project and you not know where to begin, and I'll get to that in a minute, if you can understand there's nothing wrong with you, nothing's wrong with this situation, the fact that you feel like freaking out inside is actually often just part of the creative process, that alone dials the nervous system back.
You know, a lot of it's like when you first start a project, there's a lot of unknowns. Mm-hmm. And the unknowns are really uncomfortable.
And so what's the best way with dealing with the unknowns?
Well, I mean, you can start by doing a mind map to get whatever you do have in your head down on paper and out of your head so that there's more space up there. And then, like you're saying, go for a walk, go do something else, which, you know, if you have a deadline, that can feel really disconcerting and uncomfortable, but it actually really helps because when you can relax, mm-hmm. then that's when the most creative ideas and the inspiration can come in because there's space for it to come in.
When I'm doing an interview and the book doesn't feel right, I'm not getting the information I'd like, everything feels off. And I'm going, my God, I have no idea where to turn to this. Well, first off, I surrender. I'm going, I surrender. I surrender. God, universe, source, please give me the answer. Secondly, let me step back from this. Let me go for a walk. Let me take a bath. Let me go upstairs and give the Pookie a kiss. Let me do anything to step back away from it, because I'm too close at that point to figure out what's going on. And when I step back and let go of it, the answer usually chases me down.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of what we used to do, I think. At
Try
least what
harder.
I used to do.
Yes.
Which is just like tunnel vision and focus.
It's why I'm not a big fan of the term brainstorm, because I think a brainstorm, that's the definition of overwhelm, isn't it? So instead, I want to heart feel. I want to step back and feel into my heart, open my heart up and see what will come and allow it in. And when you are, yes, like you said, diving into the minutia, you can't see the big picture. So another one along those lines, and this is a difference between you and me, which is you may go more to the mind map. You may go even more to being quiet. I may say, well, let's just jump in. We don't have to do everything at once, but the feeling of overwhelm often calms way down if we take one step forward, any one step forward. Often overwhelm is not knowing where to begin. So if you begin anywhere, you kind of burst that bubble of overwhelming energy, things calm down, now you can see more clearly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whereas I might do more of the tapping or the heart coherence or meditation first before jumping in.
Yeah, and I'm a jumper. Let's dive in and see what we find, which gets to a key point, which is perfectionism. Why am I looking at you?
Yeah, why?
No, I struggled with I struggled with this at least equally to you. And there really is no such thing as perfect. Our mentor many years ago, he used to tell us, done is better than good. And I was watching a couple minutes of an anime right as I was making the outline for this, because I'll do that. I'll write something, I'll step back away, watch a couple of minutes of a movie, let answers chase me down and right back in. And in this anime, it said, perfect is the enemy of good. I'll take good any day over an enemy. So let go of the perfectionism. It locks you in place. What did one other person call it recently? Paralysis by analysis. Get out of your head and don't worry about the perfect next step. There is no perfect next step unless you've done it a billion times before, in which case there's no overwhelm. Then you don't have a process yet. So why pick on yourself for not knowing the process if you don't have a process yet? And you can't make a process until you try it and learn about it. So you step forward.
Yeah, the whole creative process is like a series of mini experiments.
It is.
So it's also, inherently a series of mini failures and successes.
I love that word. I'm getting more comfortable with the word failure, because failure isn't failure. Failure is an experiment. We've been taught failure is something terrible. You get an F in school and you're going to get whipped, beaten, or shamed very badly. But it's an experiment. It's a learning experiment. I remember as a kid, I was in high school, and I wouldn't read the full books for class. And because I was trying to become a professional bicycle racer. And kids would say, what are you doing? Why aren't you reading the full book? And I'm saying, I'm learning what I can and can't do. Not try to push the limits, but I'm trying to figure out how to learn in the most effective manner possible, which in some way now I do read the whole books, but I learned how to ingest them even faster. Mm-hmm. But if it worked, great. If it didn't work, great. In college, writing papers was like my big thing. And I said my papers were either going to be an A or an F, because I was going to push the limit on every single paper. I was going to, I got an F, admittedly, in a foreign affairs class having to do with Central America, with a Central American professor who didn't agree with my stance on something. But I did it to try to, not to upset him, but to try to learn and hone my craft. That's what we're doing in life, isn't it?
I don't want Fs.
Oh, no. There goes my hypothesis. The point being, yes, there's still, it doesn't feel good I don't know how Thomas Edison did it. Woohoo! Another way not to make a light bulb. Let's go for 999. And it took him, 10,000 tries. So the myth goes, who knows if that's real or not. But we get to experiment. We get to play. That's part of the bike racing thing I've been doing this year is I think I started with Fs and I moved my way up to maybe a B plus or something like that. But I had to be willing to put myself out there and go, I know this isn't going to go necessarily how I'd like it to. No matter what positive thinking that I use, there's still some room to grow here.
I think all successful entrepreneurs know that, right?
They do.
Because in order to become successful, they've had many failures. We just don't see them. We see the success part.
So, and they say that the majority of millionaires out there have been bankrupted at least once, if not twice. Another key piece is that entrepreneurs, and this is one that people don't realize, is entrepreneurs are typically scared out of their minds. Is Lumi on camera right now?
Oh, Carlos, a kitty in the background nonchalantly approaches.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, look at those eyes.
Oh, that's her meowsers. So entrepreneurs are typically scared out of their minds. They step forward anyway. That energy, if we can learn to reframe, to flip things on their head, that energy is excitement. They don't realize it. We don't realize it, but it's an energy that's building up. If we can understand, in fact, if we weren't nervous at all about what we were doing, do you think we'd bring out our greatest work? Or would we be sitting on our couch going, oh, life is good?
I'd probably be working some other job that was very methodical and routine and safe feeling.
Yeah. And so that energy or excitement, once you learn what it is and learn how to surf that wave, is actually a good thing. That's the creative process in work. And every entrepreneur who's working on something worthwhile has felt that those butterflies or complete knots in their belly as well. So it's a matter of reframing. Did you have something to add?
While we're still on the topic, Anthony asks, any suggestions for step 1 infinity loops? I find myself perfecting step 1 over and over again before moving to step 2.
Yeah, give yourself a deadline, Anthony. Say, I've got half an hour, half a day, half a week, half a month, whatever it is to finish step 1. And then no matter what it is, at that time period, I'm simply going to step forward. That has been the true brilliance or genius that we didn't know about of a daily show, which is you do everything that you can within a narrow band of time, and then you let it go. You have to upload. And you have challenged me, you're smirking, you have challenged me significantly to get that time down and down and down and down. Why are you smirking?
Well, I think my deadlines come about when you start getting nervous about how I haven't made a certain amount of progress on a project.
Oh, no, I am so sorry. Much better to have your own internal deadlines than somebody else's.
It works.
But set yourself deadlines, and you can write and outline a mind map, and you can have many deadlines. I'm not a big fan of huge business plans because once you start something, things always come up. And what you don't want to do is kill yourself by having a lack of flexibility in your deadlines. If you make artificial deadlines and you really can't make them, make new ones. Don't beat on yourself. Yes, if you keep pushing the deadline out and pushing a deadline out, you better stop and step back and ask yourself what's going on. For ourselves, we would go into automatic writing and go, what's going on here? Why do we feel stuck? Why do we keep pushing our deadlines out? I believe even before we launched Inspire Nation that summer, we wanted to do a month of recording and then launch. And we ended up doing almost 3 months of recording before we finally got around to launching. And I think I was actually embarrassed for our first guests that I hadn't let them know when their shows are going to air, but I wasn't feeling ready. And finally, we just had to pick a date and go for it.
Yeah, that's because we were living with my parents and they were like, so?
Yes, this is true. Check out, was that our last week's Ask Michael Anything, where we talk all about that and the fam. Let's see, what else do we have in here? One of the things is to look for the deeper meaning in overwhelm. So this goes back to automatic writing. This goes back to sitting with yourself and asking, why am I feeling this way? Often there's a much deeper meaning than simply, I don't know whether to do A, B, or C, or X, Y, or Z. Getting clear and getting the answers on the inside, I think, help dramatically. And this wasn't even something I put in my notes. Sometimes the overwhelm can be because that's not sacrilege, the direction that's best for us. We may have leapt into something and then frozen up because universe, God, source, inner self is saying, hey, different track you really want to be on. You can't force yourself upstream anymore. Instead, I'm going to lock you down. It's why when people say, I'm a procrastinator, and don't define yourself as anything, you are so much greater than anything you can limit yourself with. I'm a procrastinator. I procrastinate on this. Whatever it is, I can't get that done. Then I would ask, what's the meaning behind it? Maybe you don't want to for a good reason. Maybe there's even a protective mechanism in you that says, if you get that done, then this other thing has to take place. If you get this done, then you have to move. If you get this new job out of town, then what are you going to do with your relationship? Any of these things. And so there may be a very good reason. It's a safety mechanism. So it helps so much when you get stuck. Don't just plow ahead, step back and ask, what can I learn from this experience? Anything you want to add to that?
Well, I'm just wondering if people are wondering. I know the answer because I know you.
That was Sir Meowser saying the purse does not belong on the table or the chair. Let's test gravity.
Question.
You know me. The audience.
Yes.
You know the answer. The audience
Right.
doesn't.
I can't think when you're talking. Okay, so when you feel like you've hit that roadblock or that obstacle and you feel a little stuck in your project and you're feeling like you're off track, how do you get back on track?
Step back first. That'd be the first step. Step back, go into automatic writing, go into meditation, maybe even feel into your body where you are sensing that stuckedness and lean into it. Do a meditation where you put your hand over your belly, over your heart, wherever it is, and see what comes up for you. Journal about it, write about it, ask what is going on? Why am I sensing this? And then if you can, step away for a day or two. We always want it yesterday. We want the show to do better yesterday. We want a new job yesterday. But there's something special about actually going more slowly and letting the answer come to you. So those are the first things that I would do. Lately, I've been doing a lot of subconscious work, a lot of rewiring the subconscious. So the I am exercise in automatic writing, or doing some subconscious work while doing tapping. Those can help as well. And then you already know the last piece of this answer. I go to the woods. Whenever I'm stuck, get me on a bicycle, get me on a trail, get me on a rock, get me in the water, but get me as far away from the house as I can out into nature. And typically the answers will chase me down. Not always the answer I'm looking for.
And how long does that take?
For the answers to chase me down? Pretty quick. So typically, not always. So you're grinning. What are you thinking?
Well,
here?
no, I'm just wondering if sometimes it takes weeks or months.
Well, when we started Inspire Nation, it was in the weeks to month category. But the closest I can get to nature, when we started the show, I didn't have a car. We were completely wiped out. So nature to me was walking the sidewalk with a forest to my right that you couldn't actually enter because of all the poison ivy in it. So you had a highway on one side, you had the forest on the other. And I say that I got the answer from the crickets because as I could tune in and focus on the sound of the crickets more, I was tuning out my monkey mind and the answers started to come to me. So have we experienced longer things? I think so. There is a blessing often in things not coming in our own time. It's one of the things I work with in a lot of coaching clients is they jump out of one job and they come to see me about getting a new job, or we may have even mentioned this on air yesterday. They talk to me about maybe wanting to leave their job, which instantly vaporizes on them. And I don't want them to jump into the next job yet. I want them to jump into themselves, to jump in on the inside and start learning about themselves. And that could be a many-month process. And you're going, yeah, but I don't have time. I don't have. If you truly don't have time, you got to do what you can do. But if you can eke by for that interim period, this may be the pause button you need to completely shift your life in a more positive direction. And to finally, for the first time, you're not taught this in grade school, in high school, in college. At any point, you're not taught to learn about you. So how in the world are you going to know where to go next if you've never had the opportunity to learn about you? So this beautiful opportunity in between jobs is the time in the cocoon, the time to grow your wings.
Yeah, because oftentimes the first set of jobs that we get after graduating high school or college or whatever stage of higher education, they're jobs that were programmed into us from childhood, from our parents, from teachers, whatever. And then one day we wake up and we're like, oh, that's not me. And that it takes time to figure out who me is.
I always go back to the David Byrne song.
Or, it doesn't have to take time. That's a limiting belief.
This is true. It could be overnight, but it's nice to give yourself that time. It's what an Einstein quote, you can't solve a problem from the same level of energy from which it was created. If you're in the paradigm of the 9-to-5 box or the accounting box or the whatever box that you're in, then if you jump out of that box and go, I'm looking for a new job, you're going right back into the same box unless you can step back from yourself through meditation, through writing, through tapping, through a retreat, through time in the woods. You're staring at the screen, so something's up. What's the up?
I just want to pretend eye contact.
Hi, everyone. We're learning because we got the new mic.
Well, I don't want to feel like we're having a private conversation and they're just.
But I want to hear on the chat, do you want us making the eye contact like this? Or is it fun to kind of be eavesdropping on the private conversation between the two of us?
I think ideally we have multiple cameras.
Ooh. Which does get into
an editor that's just splicing.
which gets into the dream team, which I'm in the manifestation. We are in the manifestation process as well. Eventually, we will have a dream team with multiple cameras, maybe with even a live studio. That's crazy, isn't it?
I've got Carla that says, I love that eye contact. Nabila, eye contact. Baseball says, I don't mind either way. Bill Marion says, I'm blind, so I don't care. Oh.
How do you do? Okay, that's a question for another time. All right, let's see. Gratitude. If you want to shift and get unstuck, find things to be grateful for. Gratitude and fear cannot coexist in the same place at the same time. Stuck is a place of fear. Overwhelm is a place of total and complete lockdown fear. Gratitude is open-hearted. It's expansive. It's inclusive. It's you're smirking again. In this place, anything is possible. So if you're frozen, write down 5 things that you're grateful for. If you're still frozen, write down 5 more. If you're still frozen, write down 5 more. And then write down 5 things that are special about you. The more that you find things to be grateful for, the more that you find great things about yourself, you can't help but shift that gear out of fear into love, which is coming right back to meta-kindness, meditations of focusing on love. You can do a heart coherence exercise. Put your hand over your heart. Breathe in gratitude. Send out love. Breathe in gratitude. It looks so corny. Send out love. But you start to open your heart and you feel much, much better. You want to really feel great? Do something for someone else. When I have someone who comes to me coaching and they're having troubles at work, I typically do the exact opposite of what they're thinking. I ask them to become Superman or Superwoman at work, not to be tread all over, not to be stomped all over, and not to be taken advantage of, but to find a way for at least part of the day to help somebody else. When you find a way to help somebody else, it unlocks the keys or unlocks the gates to helping you to step forward. On that note, a simple exercise that you can do if you're feeling really stuck is to
Michael just pointed at the answer. Thank you. Pet a kitty.
Yes, pet a kitty, pet a dog. Find a furry creature and give them some love and you will feel so much better. Would you agree with this one?
Yes. But before I pet the kitty, I like to just, check my baggage at the door, so to speak.
So you're not draining all that energy into them?
Yeah, I don't want them to clear my karma.
Very, very good.
Take on my stuff.
I like it. Any others that you would add to getting unstuck, getting out of overwhelm before we open it up to questions?
No, nothing else really came to mind. Well, I do like to go into the yard and pick weeds. That sounds like a chore, but I'm actually picking medicinal weeds.
But that actually is something that I did on Maui that made me feel so good. When we were making the mindful running program,
Yes.
I was feeling very overwhelmed. I would go out to our completely jungle-ified garden. Do you remember? It would be one long strand of weed that was like a mile long.
Yeah.
And I would just get my hands in the earth.
Right.
Getting your hands in the earth is what you're doing. You're doing it for medicinal purposes.
It's very grounding.
Exceptionally grounding.
And you just feel like it's an instant relief.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you take off your shoes and you walk barefoot on the grass.
And for that matter, if it's the warmer season, we're getting to the tail end of that.
Static.
Some places.
Your mic is buzzing.
And so we're getting a buzzing mic at the moment. Is everybody hearing a buzzing mic?
More than one. 3 people, 4 people, 5.
Sounds like a bee. Are people still getting the static?
Only when we speak. What if we turn down the sensitivity?
I'm going to turn down the sensitivity. Whoa.
It's driving Marion nuts.
I go from high. There we go. Medium. How's that? Is the buzzing still there? Well, that's not perfect. That's not ideal. Only buzzes when you speak. How about now? Answer yes. It's still buzzing. No, that was from 555. No, it is still 555. It is still buzzing now. Okay. No idea why.
Could it be this port here? Because we have that.
Well, if you unplug it and plug it back in, we may lose all mic together and may have to cancel the show. I cannot recommend that. Let me try turning down the sensitivity. Everybody, bear with us. I'm turning the mic level down.
Not too bad. Anthony says, I think we can manage.
How is it now? Any better? Any better? Testing 1, 2, 3. Are we better on the mic now? You'll have to mime.
No.
It's not better, still buzzing. So if you unplug that, it may lose the mic and we may not have any mic, is the challenge we may run into. Do you want to risk that? I really don't want to have to start the show.
Carla says, yes, I tune out the buzzing. Your voice is not loud enough.
No, the voices are too low now. How are our voices now? Me, 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 me. Me, me, me. Me, me, me.
Buzzy and voice louder. Voice is good, also buzzing.
I don't know what to say.
So, it's not something that looks like we can fix right now.
Historically, when we run into a challenge like this, if we do major unplugging, it could blow things up. So I can't recommend it unless people are saying I can't hear, then I would say we keep with it. It happened just before you mentioned petting the cat. Is it the cat? I don't think so. He's not over here. He can't take the blame for this one. Okay, keep going, fix later. That's what we're going to do. The last thought that I had is if I was feeling overwhelmed, if I couldn't get the mic going, if I didn't know what to do, I might throw myself outside and on the ground to get grounded, as long as it's not too cold outside. But that's been a very powerful technique. You would be amazed at how many of your problems can be taken care of by 5 or 10 minutes of sitting on the earth or laying on the earth. Please move any mobile devices away. The phone is not close, but nothing has been close. That's the challenge. Okay, but it's not so bad. Keep on moving on. All right, so let's go from here. And Jessica, is there anything you want to add before we dive into some questions? And everyone, we will continue to work on getting this figured out and see what's going on. I do remember when we used this mic years ago for the show, halfway through, it would start buzzing. But I don't know if it was a mic issue or what it was.
Talk about that later.
Okay. No, I asked you a question, though. Is there anything else that you want us to cover before we go into...
You know, last week was overwhelming for me because a lot of stuff went down in the same week. My best friend's mother passed away. Hurricane Florence hit the island that we were living on last year.
Yeah.
And so,
4 months ago.
Right. I can't believe we just moved 4 months ago. And we were concerned about friends that were like family there. And we're launching this program, and then I got sick. And I felt like my body, my higher self, whatever, had me go down with this cold so that I would like take my foot off the gas pedal and just be and process all this stuff that was going on, because I was feeling sad and I was processing the sadness, but not nearly to the degree that I could have until I got sick. And it was a cold that lasted like 2 days.
It was amazing that it was like that. But it is such a sign, symbol, gift from the universe that is telling you to pause. And I think you know that better than most at this point, and you do a better job than most. So you caught it quickly versus trying to push through and then being sick for weeks, for instance. You said, wait, there's a reason I'm going down right now.
Yeah. So I guess my question for you is, for people who have been in natural disasters or maybe potentially... I mean, there were a lot of people on the East Coast who didn't know whether or not they were going to be in the path of Hurricane Florence. And that causes a lot of anxiety and overwhelm. Like, do you pack up your cars? If you do, what do you take with you? How do you make arrangements? All of that. So what would you recommend in those circumstances?
A balanced approach. And it's sort of what we did on Maui, what we did last year with the approaching storms, which is we come up with a plan, we start to pack things up, we make sure we either have a generator or have the means to get out what we need to get out. We even looked at, do we want to have reservations that we can cancel at a hotel? Because we're always looking, particularly with the show, at a window of, I shouldn't look at the chat screen, something about buzz and fuzz. So you have, stick with me here, stick with me. I'm talking to you, you asked me a question. So that you have this rolling, thank you, that's grounding, she's got her hand on my leg. Anyway, you have a rolling window. If this takes place, then that. So I have things that I do that makes me feel more better. It makes me feel more grounded, like I'm taking action, but then I let go and I surrender into the situation. Whatever happens, happens. I go to a place of prayer and I say, I'm just going to let go until that time comes I have to take action. You have the goofiest grin there. Okay, what's the goofy grin for?
It's not fair. You said more better. I thought that was funny. You talk better, more better than me all the time.
I thought I caught myself in the mo and stopped before I hit the better. I'm pretty sure I did. We'll have to ask everybody for the replay. Did I actually say mo better, or did I catch myself? Do you like the interaction? I'm having fun. Are you having fun?
Having fun.
I'm having fun. We're getting more comfortable at doing this together, or you're getting more comfortable, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so excited, and now I'm going to make you whatever, but you're good.
Okay.
All right, anything else before we open it up to some fun questions here?
Carla says, talk more about surrender if you'd like. I haven't gotten that one yet.
Oh my gosh, that's what I've been doing a lot lately. Tosha Silver came on the show. I love her dearly. She talks about the flip side of law of attraction, which is, yes, you may be able to manifest, but will it actually be for your highest good and the highest good of all? And I take a two-step approach, which is do all the manifestation, law of attraction work that you want. After you've dove in on the inside, you've checked in with your heart, you're checked in with your higher self, but then give it up to the universe, give it up to God, to source, to whatever is on the inside, and allow to come in what's really there for your highest good and the highest good of all. And for myself, in fact, I had a good challenging interview in the last few days, and I was walking around going, I surrender. Basically, God, source, universe. I use all these terms interchangeably. I need some guidance here. You're going to have to drive the ship. And I think we do that with everything, though. We do that with our programs, and especially if we find ourselves getting stuck, we go to surrender because we go, maybe we've been in our own heads and our own minds too much. We've got to get out of ourselves.
What is the difference between I surrender and I give up?
Ooh, there's a big difference. So giving up is not necessarily initially bad. If you're banging your head against the wall and you go, I give up. However, it's not a full give up if you're willing to step forward once you hear where. That's the difference. Surrender to me is you're still going to be marched someplace. And you're okay with doing that march. That to me is surrender. That's why I say I don't give up. Because giving up implies I'm going to lay down, I'm going to roll over. There is no next step. And to me, it's always a two-step dance. You can absolutely completely surrender and say, God, universe, source, this is your show. And it is. It is your show. You, our audience, are bright and shiny beacons of light. And it is God, universe, source's show. It's not ours. We don't own this thing. That's why we're continuously asking for your help, for your guidance, and also for your support, because it isn't ours. And so if we realize it's not ours, we're in a very humble place where we're willing to accept guidance and come up with something better. Because if the show is to reach millions and millions of people, I don't believe you and I have the power to do that alone, or even anything close. Ooh,
You have this habit of drifting away and off camera.
Really?
Are you scared?
I'm not scared. Are you scared?
I'm scared you're going to blast the mic.
But this is not how close I started to the mic. And there's a high probability of blasting the mic. Isn't meditation a form of surrendering? Meditation is a form of, thinking of it as a term of surrender. I think it's a letting go of all. The answers can chase you down. And there's so many types of meditation. But I look at it as, yes, getting out of yourself. But surrender? I'm not sure. Would you consider meditation surrender?
I've never thought of it that way.
Neither have I, but it's a great question.
I mean, there's so many different kinds of meditation. So, I don't know. Maybe there's a type of meditation that is for surrendering.
So, Jacob, we're going to call that a brilliant question, and we're going to say there is probably a type of meditation that is surrender. Surrender-based meditation. I like it. And certainly there are times where I will go quiet. I will say, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender, and then go quiet and see what comes to me.
You know, I guess it's because when I think of surrender, there's a specific aspect or element of my life that I am surrendering. Mm-hmm. And in meditation, I'm not actually thinking about anything.
Yeah.
But there are many meditations where you are like reprogramming your subconscious. You are thinking about something.
Absolutely. And there are times where I've laid on the bed and go, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender, meaning everything. Oh, God, that reminds me of the NDE number 2, days before. The RV is broken into. There's glass all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm in a Target parking lot. I've just had my 3rd car accident of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm laying in broken glass going, I surrender, I surrender. But I hadn't fully surrendered, had I?
No, you didn't.
I went right back the next morning into the thinking mind instead of my heart space. And universe said, oh, we can take care of that. We can help you with that surrender.
And then fast forward, like what? 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. Probably. Well, let's see. There was after that, there was the vehicle almost tipping over. in the whole rainforest. There was the snowstorm in the summertime. There was the electrical system blowing up in the RV, and yet I will prevail. And then maybe it was 3 weeks later, because we did have a pause in the middle where the RV had blown up its transmission on the top of a pass.
Yeah.
And it had gotten towed out by truck. And this was our book tour in 2013. We had a beautiful time with a rental car in Yellowstone in Glacier National Park. Then we're back in the RV. I'm pushing it again. I've left this place. It was so beautiful. I was crying that I had left there, but I was pushing myself. And then we hiked with a couple San Franciscoers. We're talking about how we can think our way. What's the next thing to do that you have to do, and what we can do to get things back on track. And do you remember?
Yes, I remember. So clearly, we're not surrendering. How does one catch themselves when they think they've surrendered, but they haven't actually surrendered? How do you make sure that you...
I have no other way to put it, but damn it, pause. Pause. Take your foot off of the gas. Take your foot off of the gas. If there's one brilliant thing to help yourself get ahead, I'll put that in quotes, get ahead in life, it's to get the foot off of the gas. You ain't driving the ship. Any great thing that's happened in your life had a lot more to do with the universe, with synchronicity, with the phone ringing, with somebody bumping into a stranger, with the numbers taking off and you have no idea why it happened, with the tweet heard around the world. All of these things are completely out of your control. So when you're driving 100 miles ahead, 100 miles an hour, you can't accept anything other than the path that you're on. You have to pause. It's sort of like you're going like this. And in order to accept the greatness of the universe, you have to relax, open up.
Oh, look, there's a place to put something.
Ta-da! This is like flowers rather than...
I was thinking bunny rabbit or...
So cool to have Thumper in my arms. That would be very, very cool. Anything else you want to add?
Penny has a great question.
Yeah.
She writes, how to trust that God has got your back when things don't seem to be working out.
That is a brilliant, brilliant question, Penny. And my answer is never, how do I put this, Penny? With all kindness, love, and blessings and sympathy and empathy, to me, the short term and the long term are very discordant. What appears to be God not having your back in the short term, over the long term, and we have seen this time and time again, typically is exactly what you need. Now, there's still tragedy in life, and I can't explain tragedy in the short term. I can only explain it if we look over lifetimes. But here in this one lifetime, I'd say 99.99999% of things happen that appear that God doesn't have your back, or what I used to say is God is smoting me. You know, sort of like Bruce Almighty. He who smoteth me. Well, you know, and then he is smoted. Smoted, I guess that's the word. All of those things that happen in the short term, the RV blowing up, the tour going, quote, bad, getting wiped out multiple times. We've been wiped out and having to reinvent ourselves. Hasn't that all been over the long run for our highest good and the highest good of all?
Sure, yeah. And definitely me getting sick and healing from that.
And in the moment, you usually don't see it. I think we're better at seeing it now. We catch things a lot sooner. But we can often be going, why, God? Why are you doing this? Not because you can't see outside of your small picture. But if you could, you'd know, and now I think we get to this place real quickly, this feels awful. We still feel awful. This feels really, really bad. Something great is going to come out of it. We're going to learn how to do infomercials. Something, if you are open to it. Open means you're going to a place of love rather than fear. Your heart is open. Your creative mind is plugged into the universe. There is a possibility of hope, of joy, of potential, of a path for you. So when the going gets icky, even if it's over a long term, maybe even especially over a long-term period of time, know that's the generator cranking up for some goodness. So Jessica is now typing a question.
I'm Googling something. I watched some interview with Oprah, and she asked for something one year, and then a series of very challenging events happened for her to learn for what she asked for. And I'm trying to figure out what that was. But the point is, when you ask for something, you'll get it. It just might not be what.
Two thoughts here. One, going from Bruce Almighty to Evan Almighty. And Evan Almighty, all things are going wrong with this guy who became a senator, became a congressman, and suddenly he turned into Noah. And his wife leaves him, and his wife runs into God at a bar, doesn't know it's God. And God said, when you ask for somebody to become closer to you, do you just make them come closer, or do you give them a challenge to overcome to bring them closer to you? If you want to become stronger, do you just become stronger, or do you get a challenge which helps you to become stronger? So yes, be careful what you ask for. Know that it's going to come in a way that you least expect. And I am a very big fan of a mantra. What is that mantra?
Kind, gentle, easy, good.
Kind, gentle, easy, good. Kind, gentle, easy, good. I have, honestly, between you and me, broken way too many bones in my body because I never could hear God. I could never hear the universe. I know we talk about it in automatic writing, but if you get quiet, you get an inkling when you're on track and off track if you pause. I never paused. I put the foot on the gas, and eventually, time after time, I got broken until I would listen. So now I try to listen each and every morning. It's part of my daily routine. Do automatic writing, go quiet, do heart coherence, do meditation. And doing this, stop, just be and listen. And I ask for all guidance to come kind, gentle, easy, good, saying, I am listening, I am listening, I am listening. Anything you want to add, or do you want to see if there are any last questions out there?
Well, I just
put a last call. Very good. With that said, we're making new programs. We want to create whatever you would like to help you in your life. So let us know what you're challenged with, where your struggles are, what you want to find out more about, what you want to learn more about, or how we can help you on a weekly basis with some sort of a program, or with some sort of group coaching, or with a class, or whatever you would like for us to help you. Something about a behind. I didn't catch the whole thing.
Oh, Anthony wrote a joke. What's a bee's favorite body part to sting?
A behind. Aw. And we've had them out here during the show. We have our hummingbird feeders out here. We have 13 of them out at the moment. And the hummers have almost all gone south for the winter. I think we're getting, a couple at a time or so? And so the bees are at the feeders. It's actually the cutest thing to see the bees trying to get into the hummingbird feeder because their head will plunge in so far that, like ducks with their heads in the water, their feet are sticking up and going like this.
Sometimes they get stuck. They always get out, but sometimes they get stuck and you see their little butts wiggling
as they're working to get themselves out. It is rather cute. Anything? Well, a last question that I have for everybody is we get to decide tonight what our class is, or what our Ask Michael Anything, really Ask Jessica and Michael Anything, is for next week. So if you have a topic that you want to hear us talk about, let us know what it is. And again, InspireNationUniversity.com to find out more about our group coaching manifestation masterclass program, which will be starting just 8 or 9 days from now, next Thursday. We send everybody all our love. Is there anything you want to add? Anything you're excited about? Anything that's on your mind or that you want to share with people?
Even though I was complaining about having a runny nose and sneezing and all that, there was a part of me that was grateful that I got to take a break.
I get this. I was wondering whether I was going to be doing the last bike race of the season last Wednesday, or whether I would be marshalling at a turn because they were short of volunteers. And so I put myself on the backup volunteer list. And I'm so glad I raced. It was so much fun. I learned so much. And it was by far my best race of the season. However, if they had said, Michael, you're going to marshal, you're not going to be able to race, we need you to volunteer, I would have gone, whew, and been perfectly great with that, which I guess is also surrender. I surrender. I surrender. There is perhaps no more beautiful term than giving it up to a higher or inner power. It changes everything. That's all I've got from here.
Me too.
All right. Patron? If you want daily wows, last word of wisdom. If you want daily wows, daily words of wisdom, videos where we give you tools, tips, helpful snippets, and you can help support Inspire Nation, come on over to patreon.com/Inspire Nation, patreon.com/Inspire Nation, and come support the show. We look forward to seeing you next week. Have the most beautiful, beautiful week ahead, and above and beyond all else,
Shine bright.
woohoo!
Thanks for watching.
We love you guys.